Hey everybody out there, my name is Dragnix, and this is Earthtongue. 424 on the Steam store, came out today. It's 15% off during its promotional period. This game is developed by one man, Eric Hornby, and I have appreciation for one-man operations, even though the music's done by someone else, okay. It's all via one developer, and I do appreciate when you get a game that's developed by one guy. It's a lot of work to make a game at this point, especially a game that has a lot of complexity to it. Now, Earthtongue is sort of a life simulator in terms of you are put onto a planet and you're supposed to make it grow. The thing with the simulator mark on it is the fact that simulators need ideas of control and player feedback. They need to be understanding of you are trying to mold the world that you're trying to mold. You gotta give them the tools in order to do it. Now, giving them the tools is one thing, making them understand the tools is completely another. And that's where I think Earthtongue ultimately fails because of the lack of information, especially starting out with. Now, there is some good here, and there's some interesting elements here, but I need to go into where I have problems with the game, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about by continuing this section that I've been working on. So it takes a little bit of time for it to load up again. Alright, so we're going to pause this right away. So here is the world that I'm working with right now. This is a sort of a abandoned world per se, and you have a bunch of items within it. Now the first thing is your fungi. You see like fungi there. You see this mold or moss that is growing. You see red, pink, things like that. So the idea here is that there's a couple of different elements within the game. First of all, you've got the fungus in question. They're fed via nutrients, and nutrients, drop from the world or drop from the sky. Rain, things like that will feed them. So the fungi will grow. Now, the thing with the fungi growing is the fact that it will grow based on a certain set of requirements or parameters. I'll get into that. Now, one of the things that you notice here is the nutrients. Okay, this is my nutrient count. My diversity count is sort of the different types of items that I've got on the field. So, I got pink moss, I've got these mantises, these snails, and things like that. So let's actually start this back up again. So the idea here is that you want to sort of grow your world in the way that you want. So, intervene with the world and try to make a world that you find fitting. Now you see thing right here, I've got this, whatever this is, I don't even know what this is at this point. Now, I'm going to allude to why that's a little bit of a weird statement that I just made there. Now, you have ways of intervening with the world. You'll notice up here that you have these interventions. Over time and through certain actions, you'll earn interventions like you saw there. That means that you can sort of put new things within the world. So, for example, I can import a random fungus into the world. Okay, yellow mold integrated. So, from the sky, up there we go. You see, there's yellow mold right there. So, the idea here is that this needs to be cultivated to understand, to make it grow. So it's, moving around here at this point. Now, did I have control exactly where it was? Not really. I mean, from what I've seen, it just randomly appears on the screen, but it's very, very weird in, you can't place it anywhere specifically. You can also terraform the world. Now, the terraforming I find to be problematic because while it's important, the fact that it costs 1 to build and 1 to destroy, for interventions, that's really, really expensive. I feel like there needed to be an X20 or an X20 in terms of okay, I can build 20 of them up. Now, luckily, my yellow mold is actually growing a little bit here. Why do I say luckily? Well, that's where I want to start getting into where exactly I see problems. Now let's stop here and look at the journal. Let's take a look at, let's say, blue mold. Blue mold is a mutation of pink mold with a superficially altered coloration. The most notable difference between the two is the blue mold only rises stalks when adjacent to a pit or a wall. This behavior is more efficient than the pink mold. So, note that. It only seems to rise stalks when adjacent to a pit or a wall. So that's an important feature in terms of growing it. And so the idea is that you build the environment around it to try to make it succeed. Now, why did I say before that I was surprised that the yellow mold is growing? Well, here's the thing. I only get the entry on the yellow mold after a certain existence of that mold in the world. The thing is that the mold can die. It can go extinct. So in order for you to do this, you have to be able to put a set of features in which it will at least live for 5,000 years. You can see the problem there when I don't know how to keep it alive. And so it's more of a hope situation, like I hope this doesn't screw up over the age of 5,000 years in order for me to understand where it is. Now, you saw there, part of it is sort of ungrowing at this point. It makes me wonder, what do I need to do to make it grow? What do I need to do to make it grow? Do I need to terraform? Do I need to destroy this one? And hope that it takes over something else? What happens if it just drops in a situation where it just doesn't have any more room to grow? Again, the problem with simulator games like this is that when you don't give like a tutorial or information about it, you sit there going, what am I doing? How am I affecting the world effectively? And again, that's part of the problem here. Hopefully this yellow mold will stay alive, but it may not. Alright, so we see a bunch of molds here. Well, you're not just growing mold, right? Yeah, no, you're also growing bugs. Bugs are different species which can feed off the fungi. They can make nutrients too, or when they die, they feed again. Or they may feed off each other, like the mantis may feed off of the snake, and I can actually move bugs, so I can actually go here and be like, yeah, you can go and feed off of something else. So it's sort of getting a sort of an idea of this is the world in question, this is how it's going to build, and how do I want to build it in terms of going forward, and how do I want it to look. Again, you only have a certain amount of control over that. And again, I'm going back to that word, control. Control is where the problem of the game lies. Now, again, bugs can go extinct, and so like if you don't give them what they need, they're gonna die. Snails, for example, if they don't have the fungi to go off of, they will die. Certain snails will only move in certain patterns. So if you don't give them the patterns that they need, they will die. You notice the word die there. Now, there is no real goal in this game other than to just watch it grow. And so the thing is the question of how much of an impact am I making on the game in question. So I sort of let it go for a little bit. I sort of just said, you know what, I'm gonna hit this forward key and just walk away and see what happened. That's where things got really weird. Because the thing is, okay, yeah, see there? Yellow mold went extinct. So the yellow mold that I had, nope, wasn't able to survive. So again, frustration. But over time, it just seemed like it just was sort of it was isolating in terms of, or I shouldn't say isolating, oscillating in terms of like, okay, I got some more biomass and now I don't have more biomass. Like you see it going up and down there. Spiny slug has gone extinct. My diversity is going down. Now, things can emigrate on their own without your intervention, but sometimes it won't do that well in terms of, okay, eventually it's going to die. It seemed to go a while before it really got problematic in terms of me not intervening, and it makes the person feel like, what am I doing? Am I really affecting this world in the way that I want it to? That can be problematic. That can feel like, why am I playing this? It's sort of like, wait a minute, is this a game situation? One of the common definitions I hear, and Total Biscuit has implied this, is that is there a failure state? And it's a weird one with this one. Like I said, the yellow mold, trying to get it to grow, yeah, of course there's a failure state if it goes extinct, but in terms of an overall goal, well, the world keeps on going on, so technically there isn't. It's that weird situation in which there isn't that much that you do in the end, but on the other hand, you want to be involved. You want to see it, grow. You want to see this thing, take off. Now, one of the major problems I have with the game is the lack of information. Like I said before, you don't necessarily get all this information. releases over time. But even things like this, like, okay, I want to import a bug, for example. Okay, I want to import this. I don't know what this is. Some tooltips here would have been nice to say, oh, this is a beetle. Now, you can maybe learn that over time. Like, okay, I know that that's a snail. But let's see, is the erratic snail here? I don't know if the erratic snail is here. Okay, no, that's the snail, that's the erratic snail. And I didn't mean to do that, but that's all right. How would I know the difference? I only know the difference because the information finally released at one point. And again, if I don't have the information released, I don't know what the circumstances are to make it grow. Some people will like that self-discovery portion, but I felt like it was more frustrating more than anything else. Like, I was fighting to try to get this world to come up. Now, weather, for example. What is this? Is this snow or is this water? I don't know. Oh, that's water. Okay. Again, tooltips really would go a long way in helping this game and understanding. A meteor shower. A meteor shower actually is probably a bad thing to do because that sort of like just destroys everything from what I've seen. Terraform. Is this a destroy tool? That's a grow tool. It's a plus and a minus. I never would have guessed that was a tool. Again, part of the reason is that the graphics and pixelation are so minute in terms of detail that I can't tell. I can't tell that. I'm assuming that's supposed to be like a pickaxe or a shovel, but I can't tell that. And it feels like the developer needed to show a little bit more rather than just sort of expect the player to sort of figure it out. Yeah, my green mold has gone extinct. That's the theme of this game, is the fact that you feel like you're involved and you're working with the game, but are you? I mean, again, I put the green mold there. Let's see if that snail that I had is doing well, because I moved him. I tried to put him into a situation that he was all right with. I don't see him. Again, tools that would have brought you, like, given you information about where everything is would have been nice so that I can click right to it. I think he died. Okay, if I paid more attention to him, would he have done well? I don't think so. I really don't. It's this lack of control that I think is the ultimate problem with the game. Is the fact of the matter is that there are better simulators out there where it really does give you the feedback that you need. It feels like you've accomplished something, that something like Spore even, where you've really had it grown into something. Here I feel like I'm more along for the ride, and that's its major problem. That I'm along for the ride, great. I want to be more than along for the ride. I want to be able to take this wind comb wherever it's falling. I don't know where it's falling. I'm assuming that's the wind comb? Maybe? And again, some of these graphics choices, like this color here, really silly, to be honest with you. Okay, so that, yeah, it finally fell. I'm assuming that's the wind comb. I don't know how to grow it. I don't know how to do anything with it. You know what? I'm going to make it rain just because. Maybe that will help it. I hope so. I mean, rain always seems to help everything, doesn't it? It's a sad situation because I feel like if this game gave me more information, I would like to see where it would take to. I would like to see whether or not, I could grow my own, like, sort of ideal planet. I'm not a simulator fan necessarily, but this had an interesting cycle of life concept to it where, the mantises would feed off the snails or something. The snails would feed off the fungi would get the nutrients after the mantis died. It seemed like it would be a great circle of life simulator, and in fact, maybe it can be, but in its current form, it's not. I'm sorry to say it's not. Again, I don't know how to get this guy to grow. Maybe if I make it do this? I made wind blows. That's wind, guys. I would never have guessed that, but that's wind. Yeah, I think that's the major flaw in the game. And those who want to be experimental in terms of simulators may appreciate the game for what it is, in terms of just sort of playing around with things and trying different combinations. But if you aren't, then guess what? You're going to run into these situations where you're just sort of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm trying to do or trying to accomplish, and in the end, that's going to be a problem. Again, I got more research journal here. Mantis, okay, it's a carnivore. He eats off of something else. Great. All right, this is Dragnix signing out. I hope you got an idea of exactly what Earthtongue has to offer at this point. I had to actually look at the name of the game because it sort of left my mind at this point. I wouldn't recommend it personally. It is got a certain class for people in terms of maybe simulator and people who want to take a look and experiment, but honestly, I think there are better simulators out there. Alright, I'll see you all later. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have a chance, leave some feedback and comments below. If you liked the video, hit that like button. And if you want more content like this, hit that subscribe button. This is Dragnix signing off, hoping that gaming brings as much fun to you as it does for me.